of a number. Uh-oh, what does all this business mean? This means this is an object-oriented program, which you were about to say before I started talking, right, Savannah?
Yeah,
Sorry.
well, you're good.
So when I do Tkinter, and you'll see Tkinter on YouTube, and they usually just do this whole big giant thing that's in 50,000 lines. Well, if I use classes, I can separate things out and make it much easier to deal with. This is just my preference. So what does a knit? Yes, Nesio?
I wanted to ask, people who develop libraries, do they get paid for it?
No, almost no. You can sell Python libraries, but it's almost always open source. People do it for fun, but they like to do it. Yeah. They'll have Patreons or donations or buy me a coffee, that kind of thing. Yep.
Good.
But mostly the main reasons they do it for fun because they like to do it. It's a hobby. Many of them are probably full-time developers. This is their like hobby. They like to do this stuff.
So we can also create like our own library.
Yeah, we already did. We created a module. That's a library. It's just a library is just somebody else's code that you're importing. And we've imported utils, right? That's a library. The same idea. Since we're in classes, we're going to initialize our object, self.root, geometry, title. I separate out things so it's not one big long thing. So in create widgets, all I'm doing is creating the widgets and gridding them. And that's it. Then I'm done. I don't have to pay any more attention to that. Now I set the main loop going because all my widgets are ready to do things. And where's my button? There it is. My button has a calculate square method, and notice that it doesn't have this. It's one of those interesting things about Tkinter is you do this, and if you do the other one, it won't work. It's a common error because it is not, I would say it's not consistent. But that runs this as part of clicking the button. It retrieves a number. Remember, we were talking about the entry box can get the text. We use the float just like we've done before to convert that text entry into a float. Yes, Benjamin.
And what if you have like a variable inside of the function? How would you add it into the command? Like
You mean an independent variable?
like another variable instead of self, like let's say a number or something. But how do you add that into the command line if you don't have any parentheses or something like that?
Not sure what you're asking. This self is because I made it up here so I can access that widget. I'm getting the text that's in the widget, and I'm assigning it to this local variable, which does not have self because I don't need it in the rest of the program. I'm not sure what you're asking. And sometimes Francisco can help. You're not going to be able to help me with this one?
Oh, sorry.
No, okay. So this is a local variable. I did this just because I made this in another spot. This is getting the text from the graphical interface. Like when I type in, enter a number, I'm typing in 25. That get statement gets that text and assigns it, converts it to a float, and then does a number. And notice I have try catch so that people can't break my program. And then it becomes a float. I make the calculation, then I convert it to text to display it, which we'll see that in a second. So it's the same process we do with our command line. It's just done a little different because we're using a graphical interface. So here's my getting the number in. This is text. I convert it to a float. I store it as a local variable. I square it, assign it to this. Config means I'm changing the label. I'm adding text to it. I'm changing the text property, and I'm using the F string that we have used before to print things out at the console. But instead of printing it out at the console, I'm converting this to a string because we can't display numbers anywhere. It has to be text. And the F string converts this number into text. It's the same process we use at the console. Yeah, Nacio.
I would like to just ask a question with the libraries. So basically, if we had to do everything manually without the libraries, it just means more code. So the libraries just shorten.
I'm using somebody else's code. When we import a library, we're using somebody else's code. That's what's going on. Yep. I thought you click into it. No. Actually open up the library. There we go. So I clicked into it, Python 3.13 library. Yeah. So there's going to be a bunch of things under Tkinter. This is the library. Magic. I don't know what magic means. Oh, this is using, what is that? Regedit. No, not Regedit. Regex. It's using regex to do things. Yeah. And some internal code is really well documented. This is not documented at all.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do you figure that out? But notice that Tkinter has all these different things. Has all this stuff built into it.
So he most probably also used a library for a library. So this goes on and on.
We'd find out at the top.
Yeah, he did.
So we're using other base libraries, like less sophisticated libraries, to build this library, so they don't have to do all the code from scratch.
It's just like a compound effect.
So collections, enum, sys, types, those are lower level libraries. This is like a wrapper on top that manipulates those pieces.
Okay. And in essence, you'd fill your class with code like that. You'd fill your class with code like that, no commenting.
Yeah, yeah. And if you look at other types of code, it may be better commented. This is Tkinter, but if we look at, oh, get out of the way. I can't get into that one.
And I'm assuming there's like a whole like Python community to like verify the code.
Oh, yeah. So this is one that's, I don't know what this is built into. But again, we have all kinds of stuff, no commenting. I don't know what that is. That's not Python, actually. All right. Part of the reason I have you comment is a good practice for somebody else. In the last class, I had a quote in there, and I should put it in here too. The Alzheimer's law of programming is, if you look at code that you wrote more than 2 weeks ago, it's like looking at it brand new. That's the Alzheimer's law of programming, meaning if you haven't looked at it for 2 weeks, you're starting over again. You can't remember what you did. Also, it helps me know, do you understand what you're doing? If you just send me a bunch of code, well, and I don't know how much code in this class is being done in ChatGPT, because AI does a really good job with code. So I'm not going to police it. If you use AI to do your programs, the one that's going to not benefit is you, because you won't understand it. You won't be able to code. The future belongs to people who know how to code and use AI to be effective. And in this class, you should only use AI when I say, use AI for this thing, or use it as a tutor. So a good way to use it as a tutor is, we were talking about this in the last class, Sean and several others are talking about it. So just use ChatGPT, because that's the one that wrecked the entire world. It all started with actually the guy who invented the printing press. Does anybody know who invented the printing press? Now it just went out of my mind too. Gutenberg invented the printing press. So Gutenberg invented the printing press, which brought information to the masses. Before that, monks in very dark rooms would hand write things and copy things, and only the rich could afford it. But with the printing press, anybody could afford knowledge. So the internet, same thing. ChatGPT, same thing. It brought AI to the masses, the power of AI. There's been AI around for 90 years, since Eliza. Yeah, it's been around forever. We just haven't said AI, but it's been around for years and years. But what this current generation of large language models did, it brought that power to anybody. Before you had to be a computer nerd to use it. So explain Python libraries like I am 5. Has anybody heard of Eli 5?
Yep.
Explain it like I'm 5. There we go. See? It's a bunch of ready-made tools that somebody's built, so you don't have to start from scratch. So we'll say yes. Of course, these are like TensorFlow. Yeah, request is something everybody uses at the beginning, but TensorFlow, Matplotlib, NumPy, yeah, those are not good examples. Because they're like scientific computing and other things. Math is a good example. So Python has a math library that includes square root functions and all kinds of things built into Python.
Well, we also have the option of doing it ourselves,
You could.
but it would take longer and it's inefficient.
Right, because you can do a square root by doing the manual calculation with plus minus, which is in the standard library. This includes functions that make life easier when you import the math library or whatever library you're importing. Somebody else already wrote the code, so you don't have to write it. And all languages have that capability of adding libraries in of code other people wrote that you can use. And there it is. That's how you can use this. Nothing wrong with using AI as a tutor, to understand things. Using AI to do your programs instead of doing them yourselves. You're cutting out the creative part of your brain and the logical part of your brain, and you're not developing those synapses. You're not developing those neurons of critical thinking and thought and figuring out problems on your own. Which, if you want to do that, that's fine. But someone who does it the right way will have a better job and one longer than you will. That's just the nature of things. The future doesn't belong to people that can use AI. It belongs to people that can use AI to be more effective at what they know. That's my speech for the day. Oh, we already went through this. Yep. And then at the bottom, we create our square calculator class, and that was kind of a wandering recording, but all relevant. All these things fit together.